So today, Chee Yong and I would be doing an artist talk. I would go first and I would be talking about my art residency experience when I was at Untitled Space in Suzhou. And Chee Yong would be sharing later on about his experience with Sasaran and Hanoi. So we would have a question and answer component as well, but that would be after Chee Yong finishes his talk. Yeah. Okay, so I shall start. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so Untitled Space was located in Suzhou, China, and I was there for about a month. Back then, I chose to do a residency there because I wanted to experience living in a small province, and I wanted to be a part of a kind of like a Chinese community. Yeah, so I felt that this would expose me to a different way of life, and as such, it would also deepen and enrich my practice. So I arrived there at a point in time that was significant to the space as well, because it was still early in its developing stages. So the space was very quiet and it was also quite quaint. And there was this merger between urban and rural. So you can see that the grass is also quite overgrown and yeah, and like there's wood panels like for flooring all over the area. So I found this very interesting because it also reminded me of this idea of wabi-sabi, where imperfection was seen through the marks on the walls and the flooring as well, through the effects of time. So I felt that this was quite beautiful, and I also wanted to kind of embrace this in my art. Yeah, so at that point in time, my practice also revolved around impermanence and ephemerality. So the space was quite beneficial to me. So this over here is the common area where artists would gather together for meals and conversations. It also became my workstation because it was closer to my bedroom and I was able to work late into the night. And because Suzhou is like a place that could get quite dark at night and I was quite scared. So I didn't want to work in the studio. Yeah. So I preferred working in the living room area. So a significant element to the space that really influenced my practice was the element of light. Its architecture made it possible for me to observe light and shadow along with its transition throughout the day. And I found this rather ephemeral and poetic as well. And it led me to create works that were translucent enough to employ the element of light. Yeah, so another key component of the space was the local river, which flowed through the space and could be seen through its windows. This river also became a very crucial element for me because of its poetry and also its functions. So as you can see in these images, there was an interplay between both light and shadow, and this became something that I wanted to really explore in my works. So the river flowed through many different parts of the town, and it was shared by locals, residents, and also store owners. I think what struck me most about the river was its relationship to ephemerality, to time, and also its poetic nature and the way it kind of softly enveloped light. Along the river, there were rows of houses and stores, and actually the pathway that you see, it's also used as their streets. Yeah, so a lot of vehicles would just like drive over it, and most of these vehicles were out for delivery. Yeah, so here's another picture of it. So the streets, right, it was also lined with plants, and some of these plants were used for cooking purposes. Some were not, some were just used to beautify the place. This was the view from the front of Untitled Space. It looked one way in the morning, in the day, and it looked another way at night. So at night you can see it was really very dark, but in the day it was quite bright. Yeah. So I thought this was quite interesting, and this was actually the quieter area because it was further away from the busy streets. So I think what really captivated me most about the river was its interconnectedness with spaces and with the people as well, because it seemed to flow through almost every part of the streets. And this kind of gave it its sense of continuity and at the same time, this feeling of ephemerality. So I began to do some watercolor sketches as well, as I thought that this could kind of translate into another form of art. Yeah. So yes, here are some of my sketches. Yeah. So the river was really essential to the locals as it was relied on heavily for daily activities such as fishing, washing of clothes, and even transportation. So a lot of the fishing was done either in boats or like pails or like barrels. So this guy here, he was like whaling himself in this barrel around around the river, and you can see him just like moving around from bridge to like houses. It was also quite funny, yes. So yeah, some of them they use this river as a form of transportation as well. And the people they were either like washing clothes by the river or using the water for like other things, like watering of plants. I don't think they drank it. So for the fishermen, they caught fishes, crabs, prawns, and clams, and these were then sold at the local market. Yeah, so besides fishing, they also grew plants using the water from the river. And in the early mornings, we could also see ducks swimming around. They would go for this swim and then they would just get out of the pond or river. Yeah. So the river was something pretty essential to the locals, and I saw it as a mode of communication and a symbol of both memory and the transience of time. So many personal objects were washed in the river, and some of these objects included clothes, garments, shoes, fabrics, and bags. So the image of personal objects being washed by the river stayed with me, and it was then that I decided to create works that embrace the idea of transience and memento. So yeah, here is like more pictures of plants growing by the river. Yeah. And they also kind of dried, not really dried, but bleached flour out in the sun. And it was also done by the river. So a lot of these activities were done by the river or in the river or using the water of the river. So they really, really relied on it. Yeah. So here's another image of clothes being dried out. Yeah. So this is a sculptural sketch that I did before I started making my series of works. I was very influenced by the enveloping of light, and so I wanted to work with materials that were more translucent. I used hot glue and plastic straws as I felt that plastic was a material always disposed of, and I wanted to investigate its connection with the notion of ephemerality and time. So it's this idea of a material that is non-biodegradable, and yet it is always used, always disposed of. And I thought that there was this duality between what was disposed of and what also seemed to be quite ephemeral. And I wanted to look at this. Yeah. So I started to experiment with the addition of color. So every sculpture made was created with a single unit like that. Yeah, like that. So I would join these units together very slowly, and they would form sculptures of personal objects. I also started experimenting with light and the way the material softly enveloped it. The series of sculptures created were entitled Sentiments, and through it, I wanted to explore the subtle relationship between the fleet.
Okay, I found this on the web for the series of sculptures created were entitled Sentiments.
Sorry, it's
I wanted
Siri.
to explore the Saturn relationship.
Sorry, Siri went off. Okay. Sorry. I'm not sure how to remove Siri from my screen. Okay, I'll just leave him there. Yeah. So this series of sculptures, they acted as figments of personal objects that the locals were washing by the river. And I wanted to investigate this notion of memory and its intangibility due to repetition and routines of daily life. Yeah, so this was how they looked. Yeah, so they looked a little different with light shining on it and with light shining through it. So this was why I wanted to experiment with a more translucent and transparent material, because I wanted to see the way they look, how they look actually, with the use of light as a kind of material. So these are more pictures of my works. Yeah, so I created a purse as well. Yeah, so these were the more professional photos, and I wanted to share them. Yeah. So I created the work on the left when I returned home, and it was an extension of the previous series. So in 2019, I also started to explore other forms and materials that could resonate better with the idea of time, the notion of prolonged waiting. So as such, I started to investigate sculptural forms and their ability to become a remembrance of fantasized time. So the cuckoo clock and shoe are placed together as a form of dialogue, sharing and evolvement of the same idea and its development through time. So these are the works that are in the current show. Yeah, and that's about it. So now Chee Yong would tell you more about his experience in Sasaran and Hanoi. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so now I continue about my trips to Hanoi. Okay, now let me share my screen. Yeah, I went to Sasaran Artist in Residency or Sasaran International Art Festival in 2014 and 2017. So I just share what we went through. Yeah, so the title for 2017 is Art in the Air. Yeah. And Sasaran is a very small fishing village. Yeah, these are their fishing boat. And on the right-hand side, there's the birds that flew in and during dawn, before dawn, yeah. And Mr. Ng Bi graduated from NAFA in 1976. And then he went to some overseas international art camp, and he got these ideas to create Sasaran arts in his fishing village. Yeah, and this is his painting. This one is 2008 Sasaran International Art Camp. Yeah, and the first art camp, he invited Mr. Pei Yok-kwan and his students, yeah, went there for this art camp. And the villagers are very surprised, like how they learn art techniques and how to appreciate arts from the artists. Yeah, these are the artworks from the first art camp. Recycle materials. And this one done by Luis from Malaysia using the mirrors, broken mirrors. And 2011, yeah, some of our members went for this second art camp. Zhuang Laoshi, Hui Ling, and Eileen, they went for this second art camp. Yeah, and they did a big pit firing over there. And this is done in a primary school field. Okay, before pit firing, I think they did a lot of like collect all the sawdust, and their artworks should be in the tray, in a yellow tray, and they built a pit by using the bricks from the school. And they sprinkle copper oxide. Yeah, and I think they put the rods over here is to prevent wood piling too much and then create oxygens to enter inside. Okay, these are some of the artworks before firing, and they use the local clay. Yeah, so this is the artworks after firing. And Zhuang Laoshi also write an articles about Sasarans when she returned back. And this is 2014, and this time they got a lot of funding, so they invite a lot of artists. And this is the first time I went. And my pit firings was done by using an oil drum. Yeah. So my oil drum's on the opening. I didn't cut all the way down. So it take a longer time to really fully burn. Yeah. So if you have a chance to use an oil drum, you cut at the bottom with some, will introduce more air. So I also did a pit firings. And because over there, what we did is pit firing, and then I tried to develop the Moon series from there. Yeah. And these are my friends from Japan that I met them, Kate-san and Mina. Because I met them, that's why they invite me to Fukuoka. Yeah. So it's a good chance to like attend Sasara Art Camp and came the artists. Yeah, and then you had chances to go to other cities or countries and exchange. Yeah, this is Mina's artworks. Hadi from Indonesia. Yeah, there's one time that Hadi and his students invite me to go to Jakarta, but I can't because I need to teach in school. So I asked our members around, and Lynn and Casey went over. So Vinay's works from Jaipur, Chin Tuan from Hanoi, Michelle from Australia. These are their paintings and been exhibited in their galleries. Ku from Korea, Reno from the Philippines, Tina from Finland. Yeah, the villagers are very helpful. If you need any help, they will like to exchange and get some like skill from you. But Tina is so good that she can do her welding all by herself. some artists really need the villagers to help you to do the cuttings and so on. So this is a small fish inside the gallery. And this is a bigger fish outside the galleries in the parks. They try to build it to like become sculpture parks. This is Piso from Korea. And this is Lo Chi Bing from Malaysia, Penang. And this Lo Chi Bing artworks. Then on top, the boy, yeah, is the marble is from Ipoh. Yeah, it's the same materials where Mr. Chong Pak Choi is having the workshop. I think it's they all did the marbles is from Ipoh as well. Dino from Taiwan. And this is the one of the trips that we went through to this is the sky mural. Yeah, Hui Ling, Bernice, and me, we went there for a day trip. Yeah, not the event, but just to visit our friends over there. Yeah, so this is Sasaran. And then now I share the next slides. Hanoi. Yeah, so Hanoi March Connections. This event, I think, is a yearly event, and it happened in March in Hanoi, Vietnam. So Chin Tuan, I met him in Sasaran, and he looked at the firings like pit firings using oil drum. He never seen it before. Then, yeah, so in 2018, he invited me to go to Hanoi to show these techniques to his students. So this is his work, his painting, and lacquer. Yeah, then this during the art camp, then some of the artists, we just use the school, uni locations or any of the spots to did our paintings or artworks. And in front of the uni, there's a big car park. So they built a tent, and then you can have your wood carving. Yeah. So the student also help you as well. This art camp is about 5 days, 5 to 6 days. And the man in blue is Mukai.
Chee Yong, we cannot see your screen.
You cannot see my screen?
Yeah, we are looking at you.
Oh, sorry. Wait, how do I get up from here? Let me try. You all can't see the Hanoi one or the beginning. Now is it okay? Cassandra, can you tell me, is it all right to now? Can you all see the screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen now. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Then I'll continue.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, so yeah, so I met Xing Tuan in 2014. Yeah, so this is his painting, lacquer painting. And then the artist, we just use a spots from any locations in this you need to do our painting or ceramics. Then the car parks, in front of the car parks, they built the tent, and then we have wood carving over there. And then this man in blue is Mukai from Japan. And the students also help to learn some techniques from the artists. That's me helping my Korean friends. And I did a pit firing over there. Yeah. And it's a moon series. Yeah, behind is the Mukai's artwork. And our day trip went to the Flamingo Resort. So this is just like open up, it's near to China borders. Yeah, so they collect a lot of artworks for decorations. Yeah, Mukai's artworks again. Yeah, this one a Vietnamese artist. Over there, I realized that a lot of men's names are Ming. Yeah, I came across like four artists from Hanoi. Their names, there's one name is Ming. This is Ming, and behind is Chee Yong's artworks. Yeah, so this is like a park. Then behind is the container. So the Flamingo Resort, they will like, if they're interested in your artwork, they'll buy your painting or your sculptures, and they have a container, right? Then your artwork is placed inside this container. Then outside they will paint your mural paintings. Yeah, it's linked with your artworks or your painting series. Yeah. So when we finish our art camp, yeah, then our books will be placing over there in the gallery for sales. This is the gallery opening after 5 days of our works. Yeah, this is Ming's works. And some of the locals artists, yeah, sculptors. Yeah, this slides, or this is we artists from all over the sea, all over the world, when come to this art camp, will bring our own artworks and then we'll display at their galleries, the uni galleries. Yeah, this is ceramics done by the lecturers. So they have a kiln as well. But ceramics, you can't really within 5 days to do the firing. So when all the artists are departure from the last day, then the lecturers and the staff will do the firing for us. Yeah, that's all for my Hanoi trip. Okay, now is the Q&A sections. If you have any questions, you may, at the bottom, there's reactions buttons. You can click on the clap hand, then we will unmute you, and then you can ask us any questions.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how long do you take to create your sculpture for both?
Oh, yeah. So if I do the moon series, I bring a mold. It's a like a plate or a bowl. Yeah, a flat, very flat bowl. Then I use their local clay to make a slab and then place it on top and use sandbags to pound on it to compress it until it's strong enough. Then I'll cut the circle and then remove the first portion of the bowl. So I did 2 and I joined it. Yeah. Then after joining, I need to take about 2 days to let it dry. Yeah. Then hopefully 3rd day, yeah, there's no raining or Yeah, so I can do my pit firings. Yeah, if it rain, then I have to like wait for another day. Yeah, so the pit firings really take, hopefully can take about 6 hours to fire them. Yeah, before rain. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, the moon series that I did. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Aziz.
Hi, yeah, I'm just wondering, the Moon series, when did you do it? The one that was displayed in the exhibition. Is
Oh,
it for the first trip or second trip?
the one, this one is I did it the first trip one or second trip one I didn't show it here. This one is I did in Kota Tinggi Peter's Low Studio. Yeah,
Oh,
last year I went there. Yeah, so every year I try to do a pit firings. Yeah, the techniques is similar to Hui Ling's techniques, that I try to use the bricks over there because they have bricks. Then I just build a wall. Then I just put sawdust at the bottoms and then wood at, because they're fallen trees, I just chop the wood. Yeah, and then do the pit firings over there. Yeah, yeah. So this is last year works. Yeah, that you show it. That you went to the galleries. Yeah. Mm. Thank you. Yeah, for the Hanoi trip, right, or the Sasaran trip, so I need copper carbonate. So sometimes they don't get it, copper carbonate. They cannot purchase it or difficult to purchase it. Or yeah, so usually I bring along the copper carbonate. Yeah, when you're doing the pit firings, you will create a little bit of red or reddish color. Yeah, how about you, Koi? Do you bring anything to your trip?
Oh, yes. Because back then, I couldn't really speak Chinese. Now it's a lot better. I can speak a lot better. But back then I couldn't, and I couldn't even order bubble tea in Chinese. So it was very embarrassing. So then I had to bring like my materials over. Yeah. So if I wanted to buy any materials, then I had to ask the residency guy to make a purchase on my behalf, and he would buy it through Taobao. So he wouldn't even like buy it from the locals. Yeah. So I brought it with me.
Do you have any difficulty when you bring things into the country? The custom check, is it very tight or is loose or it's okay to go through
I
easily?
think it was okay because the materials I was bringing was like just straws and glue. Yeah, so it wasn't really an issue, and I brought it in with a using like a really small amount. But I think if you're bringing in a lot, then yeah, they would definitely check.
Because I bring about 300 grams of the copper carbonate. So it's in
That's a
powder
lot.
form. Yeah, so when I cross the custom, they ask. Yeah, so I bring the invite letters for the art camps. So it's still okay. Yeah, to clear. Yeah. So I think the paper is very important. Yeah,
Yeah.
just in case. Yeah. So any questions?
did you guys create a lot of work from the residency?
Oh, for me, usually I did the pit firings, but some of them the clay don't dry really dry, so it cracks as well. Yeah. So usually I will bring one piece or two piece back from the art camp as memories. Yeah. Then the rest will for me I donate to them. Yeah. Whatever the sales they have, they can have it. Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Koi?
For me, I created quite a number, but it didn't come back because they had an exhibition and we were all going to leave before the exhibition date. So then the arrangement was that they would ship us the work and after the exhibition, and we would receive it when we came back to Singapore. Yeah, after like maybe a month or two, but my works never came back, so I guess it's okay. And the residency, I think they shifted to like Shanghai. Yeah. I'm so sad, but it's okay.
Okay, if there's no more questions, should we end today's dialogues? Okay. All right, then we should end today's dialogues. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for sharing.
Bye.
Thank you.